You're on the Off the Ball League of Ireland podcast. It's Jamie Moore here. Very happy to welcome Ireland U21 and UCD man Neil Farrugia to the studio. Neil, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You have the honour of being the first guest we've had in this studio twice in 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So
I feel honoured.
You should be. Well, we should be too, in fairness. Now, Neil is here, of course, to talk to us a little about his career in the League of Ireland so far, but also the Under-21 qualifier, a 3-0 win over Luxembourg. Stephen Kenny's first game, over 4,000 in Talaght Stadium at the weekend. Neil got an assist with a brilliant corner, scored as well with a nice little dink, and a great start for the boys in green.
Yeah, it was a great start, and not only that, it was the biggest crowd there was since 1995 for an Under-21 game, and it was great to see so many fans and so many people supporting the game. Yeah,
that's something I didn't know before. So there's been that's the biggest crowd, what, like 20 years more?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's big. It's obviously like huge support for the Under-21s at the moment, which is great to see for Irish football. Like,
what was it like playing in front of that crowd?
It was different. Like, I guess coming from UCD, I've played in front of a crowd that big, but I've never played in front of that crowd that supported me. It was always like against Dundalk, whatever, over 4,000 people, all like supporting Dundalk and known for UCD. But now it was like the other way around, where they're on my side this time, so it's a different feeling and a much better one, to be fair. Yeah,
it has to be said, the pitch in Talaght is unbelievable, looks really good, and all the Under-21 qualifiers are going to be played there as well, so to have had the first home game, and to win and to get used to the place as well, hopefully would be really good for the rest of the campaign moving forward.
100%, like having trained in Ireland then for the weekend and playing in Talaght, we really got a feel for it, so coming like September time for the next qualifiers, we'll have done already what's needed to be done, like, so it'll be grand.
Tell me about the involvement you had in the first 2 goals. First one is, I love corners, right? And this is like a left-footed whip. Adam Ida gets across the front post, heads it in, and there's a great angle actually from the other corner flag across the pitch, and it's just perfect, really. Yeah,
like with UCD, I don't take many set pieces. I'm usually in the box, but I have taken set pieces back in schoolboy with Belvo, so like I do know how to whip one. But Conor Ronan took the first corner from the right, and just the way the wind was shaped, he wasn't getting enough power behind it, so I just said to him, I'll take the next one, like, and then I got a good whip on it, and front post for Adam, so it was a good goal. Like,
when do you know when you've actually kicked the ball that there's a chance this is going to be scored? Because you could see in the stand straight away, this is a great ball and it's a great run, but how soon after you struck it did you think this is a chance here?
I guess maybe not as soon as I struck it. Maybe once it was getting kind of flying into the box, I got an idea. But Adam got like obviously there was a good cross, but Adam did so much for it, like having to run across the front 3 zonal defenders and then get his head on it was second to none. Like,
yeah, it was
a great finish.
Yeah, one of those ones where like the pace is on the cross and he just has to literally glance it off his head to go in, but the run is perfect as well, and that's a brilliant start. And then you had to sprint from one corner to the other corner to celebrate, and just that moment, first goal at home. And I need to know this, you guys know where the photographers are, am I right or wrong?
I didn't. I only knew after when Adam went over to celebrate in front of them, but I didn't know where they were. Okay,
because the photographers are always in one place, and these young players these days, you see the under-8 internationals, they're doing their knee slide, they know where the photographers are, but in fairness, an unreal feeling, and you had to sprint that kind of 60 yards from one corner to the other to where the boys were celebrating.
It was like, I guess we needed that goal to relieve a bit of the pressure, and once we got the goal, like, it was just then we were way more comfortable on the ball. And that was always going to happen in the first international game, so that goal was extremely important. Like, yeah.
What are the keys to a good corner for you? Because you mentioned the first one by Conor. Was that a right-footed outswinger that was a lefty? I can't really remember.
It was more like a ping.
Okay, yeah. What are the keys to a good ball for you? Because these different teams, some do zonal marking, some man mark, some fill different zones to the crucial areas of the box, but I don't want you to put the ball, and you see so many corners hitting the first man. Yeah,
I think we practiced in training. We knew how they were going to set up. And we kind of said that like there's a gap between the 2 front zonal defenders, and it's just to get a runner in between there, and then for a front post corner kick, and then for basically what happened there, just a flick on, and it worked pretty well. Like,
So a few minutes later, second goal, you're the scorer. Talk us through your memories of it. I'm sure you watched it back on video a few times.
Yeah, I have, because I still don't really know how I did it. It just so happened, like, it's weird because it was the exact same situation came up in one of the trainings during the week, but instead of like just thinking it over him, I just blasted it and it just hit him, like hit the keeper. So after that, I realised I need to do something else. But I didn't realise the same situation would happen. But when it did happen on Sunday, having already been in that situation, the think just happened. Like, it wasn't something I thought about. It was just kind of natural.
Okay.
But I don't usually think, like, I've never really done it before. So it's just interesting, like, and it was quite unexpected, like, especially for me, like.
Yeah.
But it was an amazing feeling. Like, I was just, like, over the moon. Like, it's hard to put into words.
For those that haven't seen the goal, tell me about it.
It was just, I guess, we got the ball from kind of the midfield, and Conor Ronan kind of came bursting through, and I was more centre at that time for some reason, and I kind of made the run across to the left, and he just slipped me in, and then it just, like, I dinked it over him straight away because I was that close to him. The keeper came out quite early, so there was the option was there to dink him. Yeah.
We spoke the last time you were in about your pace and how much of an attribute that is to you and the teams that you're playing in, and you just had an opportunity in that game to run quite a lot with the ball and make some runs in behind, as well as a huge pitch in Talaght.
Yeah.
And, you know, Stephen Kenny spoke in the middle of the week about wanting to play, I think his phrase was maximum width, and you know, you're the type of person who would fit into that scenario really well. How was it working with him this week, and what sort of tips did he give you as a winger in his team?
Like, I really enjoy training, because the way Stephen wanted us to set up was, you know, really attacking. Like, whereas, like, we work on building up, but once we got into attacking plays, he kind of gave us more freedom. So although, yes, he wanted us to have maximum width, but once we got into that final third, he did want us to be more inventive and, you know, kind of have that injection of pace. So, you know, we practice a lot of runs or, like, set plays in the attacking scenarios.
Okay.
Which helped a lot then, you know, just for me to know when it comes to the game, where to go, where will the lads in the midfield look to pass you the ball, if it's in between the fullback or if it's just one out wide for me then to cross it in. But I guess what worked really well is just the variety of play Stephen offered for us.
Yeah, and, you know, we saw something different from the 21s, and in fairness, the senior team last night, you know, looking to get on the ball, looking to pass and that sort of stuff as well. How was the training week overall? I think you met on the Monday. Was it Monday or Sunday?
Yeah, it's Monday and then right through Sunday.
Yeah, so you trained Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, day off Thursday, Friday,
and
Saturday,
Sunday.
Game Sunday.
Yeah.
You were down in Johnson House in Enfield, was that it?
Yeah, Johnson.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
And you were up in the FAI Abbottstown training.
Yeah.
So how was the week overall, like your first full week with the 21s? I know there was a home-based squad recently and that sort of stuff, to actually be in, it's Stephen's first week, Keith Andrews and Jim Crawford, and, you know, the full squad there to get a proper week's work done.
I think it was there's a real, like, air of professionalism within the squad. Like, I think like, everyone got on really well. I think which was really good. Like, one of the reasons why he wanted to bring us so early was just to get the team together and team bonding and all that, which happened, like, coming towards the end of the camp. Like, I felt I was really part of a team, more so than a selection. Yeah. And, like, again, like, there's a massive team behind everything. So when I go, like sports scientists, S&C coach, physios. Like, I had my knee iced, hand iced by the physio every time after training for 10 minutes. Like, just that kind of thing is just that air of professionalism I found within the squad. Like, and then also training itself was of really high tempo. Obviously, we have, like, some of the best players at underage, so the tempo of training was really high and everyone's giving their all, and it's just overall really good quality within the training sessions. Yeah,
I've said this before, I would love to be a fly on the wall and hear a Stephen Kenny team talk, because even the other day, I don't know which one of the players was, it was Jason Malumbi was saying, like, just the confidence that he gives you. And, like, I've heard players, like, he nearly has them in tears of, you know, pride and stuff about playing for Ireland, or in the case of playing for Dundalk as well. Bring us inside and explain to us what he's like, because when you hear him talking in public, he's inspirational, and I'm sure in a you know, a closed dressing room he's even better.
He is, like, he definitely, like, gets you basically pumped for the game. Like, he wants you, he makes you bring out your best for the game. You know, like, I guess Jason said it well, like, he puts a lot of confidence in you. Like, even within the training session, he's not afraid to go up to you and be like, oh, like, you're training really well, are you enjoying it? Like, he's very accessible, like, to talk to. And then when it comes to the dressing room before the games, he says the right things, basically, and like, the right things to get you up for the game, and to, like, you know, like, this is it now, and and make you come out with your best performance, basically.
Yeah, because he just seems like across his career to have just been able to give each player the right message for that player, and then also the right message for the collective group, which is a skill. And the word manager is to manage the group, and you've got coaches and stuff, but just that skill of being able to give you what you need in your ear, and then another player who might be a totally different personality, something different. Tell me a little bit about that, and maybe the little bits that he would have with you directly in comparison to the whole group.
So he's let's say during training, if I do something good or there's something I need to work on, he'll come up to me in training and step me aside and say, you've done this really good or whatever. And then he also asks me if I'm enjoying it, like am I happy, like that kind of way, like make it a bit more personal or whatever. And he'll give me like tips on better positioning, and just like he'll have the tactic side of it but also have the kind of mental side to it, that kind of connection. And then when it comes to the team, then he brings everything together. It's a good attribute to have for a manager.
100%. I would love, as I say, to hear it and to see it too. The week overall, you've so much time together as a group, and there's sessions on the pitch and also team meetings and stuff like that as well. How did that work? Like in terms of the info you were given, and who took the meetings, and you mentioned you were able to see some stuff in Luxembourg video, and we're going to hear about Instat later on, which you guys use in the league too, and you guys are giving as much info as possible all week in different types of meetings and scenarios.
Yeah, so we'd have a meeting every day. Often the meeting will have some sort of like have a meeting for the training the next day for something we want to work on for the game.
Okay.
So if it's breaking down Luxembourg, for example, we'll have a training on how to break them down, and then we'll bring that into 11v11. But then within the meeting we'll be shown clips of areas of training we did maybe the day before, and like, this is well done, we need to repeat this, or like clips of Luxembourg on, this is what they do, this is where we can break them down. So a lot of tactical analysis on the opposition, but also on ourselves, which I think is very important. Yeah, on how to set up to beat them, basically.
Yeah, and you spoke about the physios and the strength and conditioning coaches and the nutritionists and all, and all the sessions are videoed, and you guys are wearing the GPS tags on your back that they can see the stats. And Stephen spoke about how good the stats were in terms of those 11v11 games and how hard you guys were working. Explain to me the environment and what kind of supports are there for you guys, from the video analysis to the physios to the food to everything, that you've no real excuse that when you do go and train and play, everything has been done for you in the best environment possible. Yeah,
so for example, every day when we wake up in the morning after breakfast, we'd go down and we'd have a screening session where we'd have a few exercises, and then we put into the laptop what we got, and if we're down in a few of them, then we'll stay and kind of correct those values. So we do that every morning. And then after every training, we have obviously the GPS trackers, and we'd also have to put in our RP. So everything was everything was measured in terms of how much distance we ran, how many sprints we've done, and also like how hard we thought the session was.
Okay.
And then all that obviously relates to how we're doing. And then if, let's say, we're down in something, or if we thought training was particularly hard, the physios or someone would come up to us and be like, how are you feeling, and ask us a few questions, and then plan from there. And then after every training session, we'd also have a recovery session in the swimming pool. So we do ice baths, so that for the next day we're fresh for training. What's your top speed? I don't remember, to be honest. Okay, we're having a look at you here for those we just seen it there, an image of Neil in actions, celebrating his goal. There you are, scoring the goal. Actually, the little dink over the goalkeeper, as you can see, he's spread himself there, and Neil has scored before going off to madly celebrate. But yeah, I saw some stats in the week about just the top speed of wingers. Like, you're quick, powerful. How much do you kind of look at your own stats and you're not just your speed, but the ground you've covered and successful cross, successul passes, that sort of stuff? Yeah, like I guess in UC, this was the first time I was using GPS trackers. We don't use them in UCD, but we do get stats every week on crosses and passes and all that. So I do look into them, but sometimes you can't look too much into them because they're very subjective to the situation that you're in. So like a top speed, for example, is that with the ball or without the ball? So I think crosses, like if it's I definitely look at crosses completions, but then you might put a good ball in, but then there's no one in the box because none of your players have gone in. So is that a bad ball from you, or is it just your teammate not getting into the box? So it is subjective to the situation that you're in, and it's important to reflect on them, but not to put too much focus on them.
So away from all the stats in the football as well, lots of time together to bond. I know some managers allow like pool tables, table tennis tables, darts, that sort of stuff as well. What do you get up to away from the football? Because of course you're all young lads who want to, you know, become mates and have a bit of a laugh away from the serious stuff. Yeah,
so we have exactly everything you've mentioned there: ping pong table, pool table, darts, FIFA. Like, we had everything there to bond with each other. Like, we also went out for bowling for one of the days, just team bonding activity. So we did have time during the day to get together and talk or whatever. Stephen Kenny was also said to us that for dinner or lunches he'd want people to sit beside different people, so that to try to bring the group as close as possible and as quick as possible, so that when it comes to training, it's easier to get points across.
And stay off your phones.
Yeah, stay off our phones.
Talk to each other. Young people don't talk to each other anymore. They just don't.
Yeah, well, in fairness, like we didn't manage to talk during the camp because some of us didn't really know each other, so we had loads to talk about.
Of course.
Yeah.
Stephen Kenny, a good ping pong player. Did you have a game against him or a game of bowling?
He didn't play, no.
That would have been an interesting match. You would have had to let him win.
Yeah, probably.
So next qualifier for the 21, September 6th, another home game as far as I can see here, to Armenia, and then it's Sweden away, Italy at home, Iceland away, Armenia away, Sweden at home before 3 more games in 2020. And I don't know if Stephen Kenny will actually be the 21's manager, then it could be the senior manager, Iceland, Luxembourg and Italy. So you'd be hopeful another home game in Talaght in a couple of months' time to go and beat Armenia and make it 6 from 6, because with Sweden and Italy in the group, you need to be beating Armenia and Luxembourg and those types.
Yeah, like we need to beat everyone, but I guess those are the potential banana skins whereby we can't be lackadaisical on how we approach it. So, which I think during the week, Luxembourg was a potential banana skin, but the way we set up and the way the coaches and Stephen Kenny kind of drilled into us was that we need to perform at our best here. This is a huge game, so that will be replicated then for Armenia, and we'll set up to beat the opponent as if they were Italy. Of course,
and this football tournament in France too, which you guys are going to in June. Is it June, July, June?
June, I think.
June, yes. That'll be very nice as well. Games against some of the top nations in the world, which I know Stephen has spoken about quite a lot. Neil, last one in Ireland before we touch briefly on UCD. I meant to ask this earlier on, 8 or 9 League of Ireland players playing in England under 23s, some players playing in League 2 in England, other players playing abroad. It wasn't always the case that many League of Ireland players were in squads. It was actually quite rare. How did you find the standard of the mixture of the group and maybe the League of Ireland lads in comparison to the 23s lads in comparison to the lads playing competitive football and stuff like that, at a senior level further afield?
I think everyone was up to standard. Every single player that was there deserved to be there. Obviously Stephen Kenny has done his homework on each player, and yes, players developed in different in different ways and in different situations. So yeah, it could be under 23s or it could be League of Ireland, but obviously from the trainings and being with everyone, everyone was up to standard, and it wasn't League of Ireland didn't look less of a part than people playing League 2 in England.
Okay, and speaking of standards, you're getting used to standards in the Premier Division with UCD. 6 games in, great win last time out against Finn Harps, 3-0, and no game last weekend, of course, because of all of the international football. There's 4 points from the 6 games so far, an important win over Harps. Rovers away this Friday. Just overall, being a League of Ireland player, having done so well in the First Division last year, how have you found it? I mean, a League of Ireland player, Premier Division
player. Well, it's been tough. I think it's been tough to get up to the tempo of the game. Is completely different to First Division, but I think every game we've improved and we've become accustomed to how Premier Division games, the tempo of Premier Division games. So the first game, we lost 3-0 to Derry. There's a waking call that we need to work harder. And then when we went into Bows, we improved. Our second half performance was extremely good. And then when we went against Dundalk, we lost 2-1, but we were winning 1-0 in the first half, and we lost the grips of the game.
Did you score that goal?
Yeah, I scored that goal.
Okay, nice.
But I think every game basically is that we're improving, and then we lost 1-0 to Sligo, but like
bashed them apparently.
We bashed them we should have won, and then 3-0 against Finn Harps, our first 3 points, really showed like we were on top of them for the whole game. So now we're getting to the grips of things, and the group is getting better overall. Our everything of our game is just getting better, quicker, which is a very, very good sign for for the coming games basically.
You'll have to make sure you walk into the away dressing room in Talaght on Friday as opposed to the home one in Ireland during the week.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, for Talaght Stadium, what a stadium! What a pitch, and I can't wait to play there again. This week. Yeah,
it'll be strange because you said earlier on about the 4,000 fans being there to support you, and there'll probably be 4,000 fans. There might be 4,000 fans of Rovers people there, kind of screaming abuse at you in the same place 5 days later.
Yeah, I know it's going to be a different experience, but obviously an experience I'm used to at UCD. So there would be no surprise there, but definitely a different experience to the Irish game.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on the game itself? Rovers played last weekend against Harps, won 1-0 on a difficult pitch. They're 7 clear, even though they do have 2 games played more than the likes of Dundalk and that, and they've been really good so far, and they're only defeat, of course, against Bohs, so it'll be a tough one for you guys. But the confidence of the Finn Harps game, I'm sure you'll hope to carry that into Talaght.
Yeah, we'll do a homer for the game, but it probably will be one of the hardest games so far in the season. So we'll have to, just play in a way that we can break them down. Obviously, we'll work through training and all that, but I have confidence in the game. I have confidence in our team that we'll do well. So I'm not too worried.
Last 2, how's college? What are you studying? And how did you miss much when you were away for the last week with Ireland?
Well, so I'm studying biomedical science, and I actually didn't because it so happened that we were given a 2 weeks reading break, or like a midterm break. So and that week landed there on the second week.
Okay.
So I was able to kind of chill out. I did have an assignment due Friday, which I had to work on during the week. So if I had a bit of spare time and had to get cracking on that.
So you worked on that in Ireland camp?
In the Ireland camp, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, it's grand. College is good. It's a good setup in UCD anyway. Doing both, I enjoy it so much. I think going to lectures and then going to training is definitely something pretty cool.
Nice. And just on that, on a final one, in that Ireland camp there would have been a lot of lads playing full-time football, whether that be here or abroad, and you're having to do an assignment and worry about reading some books and worry about going back to college next week, and that's giving you a taste for a full-time environment and stuff like that, and you're clearly focused on UCD for now, but did that just give you that real taste of more Irish stuff, but also to try and be in a full-time environment as soon as possible, whether that be here or that be, I know you've had some UK trials, maybe looking at some stage to go away at a good age and in a good period of form?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something I want to do, but at the moment, I'm concentrating on getting my degree done, for that cushion to have if my football career doesn't go anywhere. But that's definitely something I'll be looking forward to do, playing full time. It's true at the moment I am full time with UCD, but just a different sort of full time. Whereas I'm in college instead of playing football, but then there is football in the evening. So it is a different experience for me to go into only play football and not worry about college. Mm-hmm. There is a lot of free time in that I'm able to do assignments or whatever, but it's definitely something I'll enjoy doing when I'm ready for it, basically.
How long have you got left?
I'm finished next year.
Okay.
Yeah, so a few more games in the senior, playing a senior level is important as well, which is good to have as I'm doing my degree.
So the students have you for a while, yeah?
Yeah, they do.
Neil Farrugia, thanks for coming in. Well done last week. Best of luck on Friday. We'll speak to you soon.
Thank you.